Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of Minecraft the Hard Way. I'm your host, KirinDave, who is lucky enough to get to play on this fine server. And when last we left off, we were sort of in the middle of a build. All right, folks, so here's what we're going to do next. We are going to run some gold pipe up and around here. Now, we're going to be a little bit careful about how we do this, as we're a little pressed for space. I think we can make it work, but we'll just have to express a little bit of caution here. What we'd like to do is for each one of these crucibles, we want to set up supplier pipes. So let me go ahead. I have them set up right here. Let's go ahead and toss one there. Shift right click. Now this one we're going to need to, I guess I forgot to order it. We should order up a little bit of redstone. So we go redstone and we order up a little bit of redstone, just a piece of it. Or actually, I guess a whole stack, -1. We'd like to try and keep a stack in there, basically at all times. And that will basically backfill this system full of redstone. And so we'll have pretty much infinite redstone as long as the power holds out. That's the real concern that we've got. Now, let's see, if we go ahead and right clicks with the wrench, and we want to say, and then we just want to say, basically request an infinite amount of it, right? If that's the case, then this should start drawing in as much redstone as it can possibly get. Let's go ahead and do that for each one of these, right? And like so. And there you go. As you can see, it's going to fill it up. And these are basically just going to completely fill up forever. Pretty cool, I think. And it processes them pretty fast, which is neat, right? Like it goes quick. So we're definitely keeping up with our power requirements right now. Let's go ahead and wire up the rest of this like so. And we'll need to make sure, actually I just realized there's junctions here, huh? Easy to forget, easy to forget. So let's go ahead and order up some basic logistics pipes. And I don't know, let's get, we'll need at least, we'll get 6 in case we need a little bit more. Now, of course, you can see we've got all kinds of stuff basically going in here, just constantly requesting, and sometimes it'll backfill. It seems a little bit suboptimal, so maybe we could go like partial or full, basically, and just try to keep at least that much in there at all times. Because you can see it's kind of bouncing in and out of the system, which is not the best, I don't think. Hopefully, though, it'll be enough. So let's just go ahead and do that for each one of these other things. For this one, we'll want to get some glowstone. And we'll set the glowstone. Now, I'll just go do the last one for ender pearls. Similar principle. And then we'll wire it all up. And yeah, now we should have a system that basically allows us to make all sorts of really cool stuff. No doubt about it. I'm actually pretty excited about this because it means that we now have the capacity to make some really, really cool gear. So let's go ahead and make sure this is full. This should be full. And then we just wire these up like so. And toss in an extra bridge here. And we're good. Now, the other cool thing we can do, and I think we have enough to do it. So let's see if we go like, let's see if we go, it's a little bit down here. We're a little bit tight on space, but that's fine. If only we had morph. Although I guess we could make a Ars Magica spell to shrink. Maybe that would be useful, but I don't know. I find it kind of undignified, to be honest. Shrinking down to a tiny size, it's just not my style. Now, naturally, the outputs are down here as well. So if we could just sort of, since we have basically infinite resources, we could sort of spam this. So let's go ahead and just put one of these there. Now, of course, this is a junction. It's got to be a logistics pipe. Wasteful? Maybe, but I'm not sure that I care. I'm not sure that I care. This is an easy build. Similarly, we can toss this one here. There's no junction. So, and this will be the output, right? So let's make sure the output is set to down. And input from the top. Looks like a backup is going. Things may get laggy. And let's just go ahead and connect that. There, so now anything we make will naturally be sent over. And as you can see, these tanks are already rising with a fair amount of this awesome fluid. So pretty exciting, I think, overall. Now, you know what we could even do is we could get a fluid supplier pipe and hook it up to the bottom of this tank. And, oh, hello, Origin, like I care about you. And, yeah, we'll just do the similar thing right over here with 2 logistics pipes to keep the junction clean. There. Now we can make all sorts of stuff. Let's start by making something that I have been wanting to make for a while. Specifically, we're going to make a weapon, I think, that'll be worthy of us. And then we'll clean things up in a little bit. So I do need to let this cook for a little bit, though, because I do need more fluid than we have here. You can see we just keep melting these things down, and I do need a little bit more fluid before we can continue. So one moment. Specifically, I have sort of finished putting together all of these things. They are now, all these tanks are full of their relevant liquids, and the system is constantly forcing them full. I've also made a Gellid Cryotheum producer, which can also do a pretty good job at what it's doing as well. So, given that, why don't we make this sword that we've been wanting so bad? Now, I've been off camera making a whole bunch of different alloys that we're going to need, because basically we have to go through and make a bunch of stuff. So let me show you what we're actually aiming for. What we want to do is make these high-end tools. Specifically, we want to make a Gellid enderium sword. Now, to do this, we're going to need a Gellid enderium ingot, which is fairly involved to make. And then so we're going to need to make some enderium, and we're also going to need to make one of these flux-infused swords, which involves obsidian rods, flux crystals, a bunch of stuff. Now, most of this stuff is straightforward, though. So what I've done is gone ahead and made a whole bunch of electrum. So you're going to see just a stack of electrum blend there, because that's what we need. I just made a ton of it. Just by putting together half a stack of silver and half a stack of gold, you know we're good for that. So let's go ahead and just pull a bunch of this stuff out, and maybe we'll just make 2 for now, but we could probably just go ahead and pre-process the entire batch, because I really don't have much use. Well, there's a little bit of use for electrum. So let's see here. We got our electrum. So all we have to do is redstone infuse this stuff. So let's just make 2 right now. And it takes a moment and a fair amount of the destabilized redstone, but it will go ahead and make us some stuff which is being shot right into the system. And that's the flux-infused redstone. While we're at it, why don't we grab, a handful of diamonds? Maybe 10. Let's go ahead and make 16 of these. We got to actually select them. 16 of these. So these are what we're going to do to make the obsidian rod. So if you look here, what we need is this obsidian rod. This is the obsidian rod, which is pretty easy to make. And these flux crystals, which are made by infusing diamonds. So let's go ahead and infuse 16 diamonds. And of course, this system's going to be constantly refilling that. As you can see, it's already doing its work. While that happens, what we're going to need to do is grab some obsidian. And to go through. So now I don't think we have any pulverized obsidian on hand. So why don't we go ahead and just grab, 20 of that. And we'll make some pulverized obsidian to store in our system. So once we get done with this, then I think what we're going to do is maybe, the next thing we want to do is talk about the second spellbook. You'll notice that I have 2 spellbooks that are, I went and I fought the Arcane Guardian, a bunch more. While I still have all my cool spells, I've moved some into this special book, including this Finger of Enervation, a fire projectile, an ice projectile, Mjolnir, which we've all come to know and love, and, of course, Reject, which performs so well during the awesome challenge. So with that in mind, let's go ahead. He is teleporting valuable minerals from the earth using only potato power. You green thumb you. Maybe he'll want to join us for some training. I know that Lying expressed interest in learning more about ours, and we're about to go through some training on ours as well, or on... not ours. We're going to go through some training. Well, yes, I guess with ours. We're going to finally break our lightning affinity. I said we do it, and we're going to do it. But first, let's go ahead and get this done. So we have a bunch of this stuff. So let's go back over here and actually make the rod that we need. So let's go ahead and affix it. So we need one of these. I think that we actually have everything we need to make this. Well, we're missing obsidian. We need to actually grab... Did we not pulverize it? Is it not dumping out into the system? Something happened in here? Pulverized shiny metal. Oh, interesting. We didn't actually do it. That's why. We have a bunch of shiny metal for some other stuff soon. Let's go ahead and put this away, because that's what we'll be using next. There we go. That should be plenty. Let's just get over there. It's a little bit... I need to fix that door. It's a little bit dicey. Let's go ahead and get some blaze powder. 2 should be enough. Well, got 4 though. And let's just go ahead and mark those. And let's make some of these obsidian rods. Now let's make the flux crystals. Let's request 2 of those. Put that there. And there we go. We've got that. Now we do need to make some of this fluxed electrum blend, which we have 2 of. To turn this into fluxed electrum, we actually have to smelt it with pyrotheum. So let's go ahead and grab the flux electrum. And let's grab some pyrotheum, because we're going to need a little bit of it. And I've taught the system how to craft this now, so it should be pretty straightforward to do. There we are. We've got our fluxed electrum. So now we should be able to, in a really straightforward fashion, create this setup. So we have one of these, and we just put this rod down here, and boom, we have a flux infused sword. Now, normally we'd need a cyclic infuser, and I could make a cyclic infuser. Well, let's just see. Can we make a cyclic infuser really fast? Cyclic ascent, not a cyclic ascent, it's a infuser. Maybe it's not cyclical. I forget the name, but we're not going to use it anyways. We're going to use a basic energy cube for mechanism in this one case. We're not using a lot of mechanism in this build, but this actually saves just a fair amount of work and time. So what we're going to do is, I guess, just break this right here. And then we'll set this thing up to output up as well. And then we'll toss this down. So now, this device here actually will let us, oh look, it was not quite full. With that set down, we can just go ahead and toss this in. Now, this weapon's not so bad in its own right, but it's not where we want to stop. So we need to go ahead and make some enderium while we're at it. Seems to be cutting down my frame rate, so maybe we won't leave that up. Alright, so next we need to make the enderium blend. We just need 1 of these, because, well, see, look, so we're going to make 1 of these swords. So we're going to need a Gellid rod with a Gellid gem, which is another one of these flux crystals. That's why we made more than 2. And we're going to need 1 Gellid enderium. So we need to make 1 enderium. To make an enderium, we have to make a blend and then smelt it with pyrotheum. The enderium blend is pretty straightforward to make, so let's go ahead and just request that. Now, the only thing is we don't have the resonant ender bucket. I don't have a system to automatically fill those right now. We need tin powder. I know I ground up a bunch. Yeah, there we go. I just need to grab 1 and use the right type because it's not quite right. And while we're at it, let's grab a bucket. Let's grab a few buckets. And let's just go ahead and make some of these. Oh, look, cute. It's because it's near Halloween time. We have pumpkin buckets, which I guess are just wooden buckets. That's cute and all, but I sort of don't like mods that do that. Because they tend to make bugs which only show up 1 time of year, and it almost never is the time of year that they wrote the mod. So even though they have the best of intentions, it's oftentimes not the most well-tested thing. So let's go ahead and grab 2 buckets of this fancy resonant ender. And let's toss them in here. So we go like this. Right, and that makes a whole bunch of this stuff, which is why we're going to, let's pull this out and request 1 more batch of it. We're actually going to make 2 batches because that'll hold us over for a while, which is kind of nice. All right, so then boop, boop. And there we are, 8 enderium. Again, not unlike the we're going to need pyrotheum for this. So let's go ahead and request, 1 pyrotheum can do 2. So we're going to need 3 more pyrotheum to finish this job. That'll come up in a sec, and I'll just cook it, and then we'll infuse some of these other things. So what we need to do, of course, we're missing sulfur. That is not good. Hopefully I can get some at least. Well, anyways, let's go ahead and at least get this minimum amount. That'll give us 2 of the pyrotheum. Then I'll see about my sulfur woes, because sulfur actually can be a bit of a pain to get in this setup. So let's go ahead and toss. We don't need these things right now. And let me grab some flux crystals. And the flux crystals get infused like so, right? Or am I doing it wrong? Oh no, these get infused with Gellid Cryotheum, so these are more cryotheum infusions. My bad. They go in here and they get infused, and then we will infuse these things. And that will allow us to make the sword that we want so dearly. Just a moment and I'll set that up.